This is You'll Be Sorry, a Megan York mystery, Book 1. Written by Ava Strong. Narrated by Kristie Lee Walsh. Prologue. It wasn't like most people to smile with a coffee-stain setting into their white polo. But that had just made Ben seem all the more disarming to Elizabeth. There had just been something about him, she felt, after she had bumped into him. She knew in any other circumstance she would be mortified, probably hyperventilating, if she had ruined someone's expensive shirt like that in such a public place. She had kept expecting herself to be consumed by panic at any moment, but as she tried to dry the stain on his shirt in the middle of that coffee shop, just something about his smile and reassuring voice made her instead feel almost calm, and Elizabeth had never felt in control of her anxiety. For most of her life, she had wanted to manage it in her own way. She was determined that if she could just find the right mindset and think things over slowly and carefully, she would be able to rein in her fears to a healthier, more natural level. That never worked, of course, and so, most of the time, she simply let the anxiety win, and instead stewed in the more manageable feeling that she was wasting her life by confining herself to experiences well within her comfort zone, almost always at home and indoors. A whole other fear unto itself in truth, and what she really hated about herself. But then she met Ben. She hadn't expected to do much of anything on her vacation that spring break, even though her parents' cabin was almost a storybook destination. After she had unpacked her bags for her 2-week visit, she had planned to do little more than house sit until they came back from their trip. She was perfectly okay with a vacation like that, really. She was used to it, after all. She had met Ben on her first coffee run into town. Bumped into him, literally, and as she had been apologizing profusely and attempting to dry her latte off of his white polo, he had captivated her. As he reassured her that it was nothing to worry about, he asked for her name, then continued with the classic, "Haven't seen you around here before," which led right into, "Oh, just here on vacation." And then before she knew it, he was asking her for her phone number. She had hesitated to give it to him at first, but some inner voice was always telling her not to do those things. She was tired of listening to it. So she had, and they had made plans, and of course, none of her worries had materialized. Their casual first date had gone better than she had hoped, in fact. Then he offered to take her sailing. In any other circumstance, she wouldn't have even been able to go sailing with her close friends and family, and going sailing as a date, with a man she had just met, would have been unthinkable. Even as she was forcing herself to say yes, some inner voice had been practically screaming at her to make up some excuse, offer some alternative. But she was so proud.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?